First, I want to go to a very special guest joining us. It's Jonathan Price, the brother of one of those three victims, Ricky Johnson. Jonathan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Nancy.
Jonathan, I wondered sometimes if this day would ever come. You said from the get-go, something is wrong. Something is horribly wrong. It didn't happen this way. And you were right.
Yeah, from the very beginning, it didn't make sense. And it still doesn't make sense that they were able to rule out foul play from day one. And then, with these charges, I mean, I don't know the legal definition of foul play, but it definitely seems like they now believe that there was foul play. So it just keeping us in the dark for this long is very troubling. But there is still a sense of relief among all of us that this is hopefully coming to a conclusion.
You guys have been dragged through hell and back. And during the Super Bowl, when the Chiefs were playing, I thought about you and your family. And I wondered what's going through their minds tonight as everybody's celebrating and partying, and you still did not have answers in your brother's death.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Ricky daily, um, and even more so when the Chiefs are playing or KU's playing. Um, there's he cared much about his family and he cared a lot about his sports, and we shared that our entire lives, and those memories will always live on. And like I said before, it's there is a sense of relief that something is coming from all of this.
Well, I was wondering, Jonathan, when everybody was celebrating and there was the big lead up to the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl, and everybody's, what's Taylor Swift going to wear? And are they going to get engaged? Is she pregnant? Blah, 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 blah. Were you thinking, what about my brother? What about my brother? Because I was thinking that the whole way through the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Every day we've been saying this, and it kind of went radio silent for a very long time, and then we were still hearing that there was no foul play. There's just too much still out there, and it's it's all about what's going to come out at trial. But there's still lots of
Oh,
questions
yeah,
on why
you're
we were
right,
still much in the
Jonathan.
dark.
There is absolutely going to be a trial. You guys kept in the dark for so long, which must have been agonizing as you wanted so badly for your brother to get justice, and to think that for all that time, he sat in his house throwing back the booze, hanging around in his underwear. And this guy is no idiot. He's a scientist, for Pete's sake. Ignoring the dead body in a lounge chair on the porch, ignoring his friend's cars parked directly in front of his house. How can you ignore that? How can you not hear the phone for 2 days, not notice that you are being barraged on social media and texts and emails, acting like nothing happened? And then to pack up and leave town? Well, this is how the whole thing started.
January 7th is a football day for the Kansas City Chiefs as they will be playing the Los Angeles Chargers. So 38-year-old Jordan Willis invites a couple of buddies to come to his house and watch the game. David Harrington, Ricky Johnson, and Clayton McGinney arrive at Willis's house just in time for the 3:25 kickoff. They enjoy the game as the Chiefs beat the Chargers 13-12, and Willis makes plans for them to get tickets to the next home game.
So everything's fine. They're all there watching the game together. Then what happens?
After the game, Jordan Willis waves the guys off and crashes on the couch.
On Monday, January 8th, Jordan Willis claims he did not leave his home at all. He would normally have to take his dogs, Sadie and Daisy, outside to do their business, but they're all staying at his dad's place.
Okay, wait a minute. He had described his dogs as the, quote, loves of his life. How did they end up somewhere else? Okay, that's just a tangential question. But right there, something is way wrong. Joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter Dave Mack. Right there, Dave. Jordan Willis, and this is on a Sunday, the scientist, he waves away the friends and claims he crashes on the sofa for what, the next 2 or 3 days? I mean, if you take it from Sunday until finally the police were at the front door after the girlfriend breaks in the window to find the dead body and starts screaming. I mean, that's his story, Dave? Seriously?
And he's sticking to it, Nancy. He has always claimed that he crashed out, doesn't know what the guys did. He was sound asleep for the next 72 hours. And he missed all the messages. He didn't get any text messages, phone calls, because that phone was ringing off the hook. All those guys, family and friends, were reaching out to him because they were always in contact. But Jordan Willis claims he slept through the entire thing for 3 days, and he only got up when they, basically broke into his house to tell him there were dead guys on the backyard.
Jonathan Price is with me. This is Ricky Johnson's brother who passed away. When I think about what he went through, it was so cold out there. Do you let yourself, I try not to think about what my fiance went through when he was murdered. He was shot 5 times in the face, the neck, the head. And I try not to think about it because it will mess me up so badly. And I have children to raise. Do you ever let yourself think about what Ricky went through while their friend was inside in his underwear passed out?
Yeah, I think about that all the time. Especially with these 3 gentlemen, being inseparable for a very, very long time, and for all 3 of them to happen at the exact same time, and what some of them were going through in the final moments of seeing maybe one of their friends go down first. There's so many questions still on how that would have happened.
And I pray that all the facts, not just some of the facts, but that all the facts will come out and we will know. Is no idiot. 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I never knew my friend was dead on the back porch, and my other friends were dead lying in my yard. How can he say that? Oh yeah, and all the phone calls and all the texts and all the emails and all the social media. He said he was wearing noise canceling headphones for 3 days. Really?
Says he was wearing noise canceling earphones and he was in his house. He didn't notice the car in front and he didn't notice 3 of his friends. He wasn't texting them the day after, hey guys, let's go get tickets for the next game because the Chiefs had won. Completely acted like he was completely shut off from the whole world. And noise canceling headphones, sure, maybe you can't. Right. You maybe can't hear a little thing in the next room, but you're going to hear people beating on your door and you're going to see your phone blowing up for 2 days.
So let me understand something, Dave Mack. How many days passed before the girlfriend, the fiance, has to come and literally break in? When did that happen? Just give me a number.
2 days. All right, 2 days, Nancy.
What day was it?
The game was on
it Tuesday?
Yeah, the game was on Sunday, the 7th, and Tuesday, the 9th, is the day police are at the door.
Okay, you know what? They didn't teach me math in law school, but 7, 8, 9. That's 3 days. 7 is Sunday, the day of the game, which is in the early afternoon. All night, all day Monday, until finally Tuesday, when the fiance is beside herself. She can't find her fiance and goes looking for him. Listen.
On January 8, friends and family are concerned they were headed to Jordan Willis' house to watch the game. But now none of the guys, including Jordan Willis, are replying to messages on social media or by phone.
On Tuesday, January 9th, 9:51 p.m., Clayton McKinney's fiance shows up at the house. She sees the cars in the driveway, and since nobody is answering the phone or replying to messages, she breaks into the home and screams Willis's name. She walks through the house, then she looks on the back porch and sees a body.
Oh my stars. Okay, Jonathan Price is joining me. This is Ricky's brother, beloved brother, I might add. They grew up together, and they would argue about who's going to watch Power Rangers and who's going to watch ESPN. Very, very loving relationship their whole lives. In my mind, that's 3 days. You got the Chiefs game, early afternoon Sunday. They're together. Then Sunday night, all day Monday night, and then Tuesday, 9:51. That's nearly 10 o'clock at night. Clayton's fiance comes hysterical trying to find him and has to break in and sees a dead body. Is my timing correct, Jonathan?
I mean, it appears to be correct. I'm not very good at math either. But there's a question in my mind that there's no possible way you can sleep that long and just not know what's going on.
I agree, Jonathan. No way. What was he doing in there? Joining me is a veteran defense attorney who has handled a number of high-profile cases. Derek Smith is joining me out of Ohio. He's at dwsmithlegal.com. Derek, really? The defense? I slept through the whole thing? I mean, for those of you just joining us, finally, movement, a bombshell arrest of 2 people in connection with the deaths of 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans who were frozen to death in their buddy, the scientist's backyard. Derek Smith, can he really look at a jury and say, I slept for 3 days with noise-canceling headsets on, I knew nothing?
Yes and no. This is a terrible situation. His best friends, some of his friends he's with his whole entire life, like they said, they were very close. Utter shock and disbelief and just manic depression will put somebody down. Looking out your window and seeing your friends in the condition they were in, that's enough right there to send a person into deep shock, disbelief, and just pass right back out. Does not want to be part of reality.
Okay, that's a good one. So he saw the bodies and then passed back out. To Dr. Heidi Green joining me, clinical psychologist, trauma specialist, author of The Path to Self-Love and World Domination, drheidigreen.com. Dr. Heidi, so now we're getting a spin on that and no telling what it's going to morph into by the time this goes to trial. So Jonathan Price, brace yourself. So Derek Smith is spinning it out. Like Rumpelstiltskin would take that nasty hay out of the barn and spin it into gold. He is now hypothesizing that the defendant, one of the 2 arrested in the deaths of 3 people that were left to freeze out in the yard, one on his porch, is that he came to from his deep sleep. I'll throw in Sleeping Beauty there. He came to, saw the dead body of his friend, and then passed out. Dr. Heidi Green, psychologically speaking, that seems very unlikely to me.
So it is very unlikely that he fell unconscious for 72 hours as a result of a significant trauma. And we can say if your friends died accidentally, if that's what we're going with, and you saw them in your home, it's obviously possible that you would have a significant trauma response. And that trauma response could include a freeze response. I could see somebody maybe being in their house, terrified to answer the phone, terrified to go and look at the bodies, wanting to essentially just pretend like nothing's going on. But to actually be unconscious for 72 hours, that seems far less likely as a trauma response.